What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of A1A Adventures. Today we are going to explore something different, adding something into one of our aquariums, such as bamboo. Now, bamboo is great actually for removing the nitrates, and it thrives very well in deep water. So this is going to be an awesome addition, I think. Now, I've been watching a few videos on adding lucky bamboo to the aquarium. Most of them pretty much use that spiral one. It kind of, it grows in a spiral, which I've heard that, from the farms, it's pretty much like that way because of how the light is kind of moved around to trigger it to grow in that spiral structure. But we're going to check this one out and see how this one goes, and just wing it. And because the bamboo plant that we have right here is kind of growing out of control, and it does really well in the shop, we get a lot of light beaming in from the front here, so it's going to do well, I think, back in our Pacu tank. And we're going to actually kind of customize it because it doesn't seem long enough yet in order to actually reach the bottom. Let me just be a little more specific. It doesn't reach enough to go all the way to the bottom of the Pacu tank. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and maybe secure it to the filter, and I feel as if it's going to get a good amount of nutrition from a little bit of the fish waste that we have in here, as well as the food that we feed Chomper, and we feed him every day, so that should work out well. So I was looking through this mishmash mess of a toolbox I have back here, and I don't have any zip ties, which are going to be a main ingredient and tool that I'm going to need to make this happen. So I'm going to have to run home really quick, and let's go get some. Make this super quick. Good. Sweet. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just use maybe 2 or 3 of these. I'll grab 5 just to be safe. And whoo, there you go. Just enough for what we need. And we're back. The first thing that we're gonna have to do now is we're gonna have to unsecure these by undoing these little foil ties we have going on here, which shouldn't be that hard. Okay, now that that's off, I don't know how the root systems are in here, so I see in the middle there's a PVC pipe kind of holding them all together. This was a gift like 2 years ago, so I'm gonna have to try to undig the roots here and kind of get this thing out. All right, so I'm having to rip at these roots a little bit here because they are in fact in there pretty hard. These roots are real, man. This bamboo is for real. All right, so I got one out that looks like a good enough root system still. Didn't damage it too much, so that'll definitely regrow. We're gonna anchor this one, and we are gonna watch it fester into this big old bamboo plant. And it looks like I may trim the top. I think I'm not gonna trim it at first just to see. It's growing another little stalk right here on the side, in addition to that big long one we have already going up top. So I'm just gonna let it sit until it gets, kind of adjusted and acclimated. I'm gonna rinse these roots off a little bit, and we'll get zip tying. All right, so now that the root system is pretty much cleansed and washed off from any extra dirt and debris that we don't want floating in our tank, we're gonna go ahead and anchor this baby. So my general idea to anchor this is gonna be on the side of our filter, and I'm gonna go ahead and place it in about just yay deep under the water. So it's going to at least not expose too much of the top of the plant, because we don't want any of these leaves decaying in the water, which will cloud up the water and make it pretty murky and gross. So we're going to try to keep just the root system until we see how this goes, and hopefully over time I can maybe raise it up a little bit to make the root systems grow deeper and make the top grow taller. Of course I put it in backwards. Simple switch around. I'm gonna use one zip tie at first just to see if it's enough, and then if we need another one, we'll go ahead and do so. I saw some other people using like light crates and stuff too, which I have at home. Coincidentally, we used to hatch a lot of snakes and bearded dragons, a lot of reptile eggs, so I actually do have one of those crates if needed. And if this works out well, I'm gonna do this in a couple of my other fish tanks because we have a lot of bamboo to go around. So I'm just trying to position it so it's upright, not on a slant. All right. So there you have it. Some bamboo installed on the top of the fish tank. Now, if I go ahead and I trim this big stalk off, I could probably replant it if I wanted to, but I have many stalks to go around, so that's really not a priority of mine. But that's pretty much as deep as it is under the water. I'm curious to see if, I don't know, Chomper actually, on some days, I mean, I feed him every day, but on Sundays we're closed. And as you could see on the tops of these plants, he sometimes nibbles at them and goes to town on them. So being that this is real vegetation and a source of real nutrition, I'm curious to see if that's gonna last long, and I don't know if this is even gonna work. Kind of gives it a cool but messy tropical look aesthetically to the tank, so I'm not too complaining about it. And this is going to be a pretty new adventure on this plant edition here. So Chomper's checking it out. He definitely can tell something is new in his tank. Now, if you have any luck or if you have any experience in planting lucky bamboo in your tank, please comment below and let us know how it went and how the root systems adapted. How long did they grow? I mean, did you have to submerge it all the way under the gravel and the soil? Because as you can see in our setup, we just left it where it's kind of at the top of the water in a good free-flowing area. So, I mean, it's still gonna serve its purpose and it's still gonna have the nutrition and the requirements it needs to grow, as well as the sunset that beams through this window that's gonna actually work well in giving it the light that it needs. My guess is that as time goes on, as the roots do adapt to this new environment, I'm gonna have to raise this up a little bit, inch by inch by inch by inch, maybe gradually every week as this starts to grow. So it gives the roots more of a reason to actually want to grow down, thus making it taller as a plant and as a whole. So this will be interesting. Now, if this bamboo experiment does go well, I'm actually gonna use that plant and probably utilize about half of it and add it to some of my other fish tanks, and so I don't have to go out and buy more plants, and it works well as long as it has decent sunlight and a lot of water. So if you are a fish fan and a plant fan, make sure you like and subscribe, like this video. Hit that notification bell button below, and as always, be adventurous. Thank you for watching A1A Adventures. I'm gonna let the base of this breathe a little more freely as we have a lot of this